What's up, guys? Eli here, back for another new stuff video. I have a decent amount of stacks, a decent stack of stuff here, going all over the board as far as formats, all different formats. A couple vinyl records, nice stack of CDs, even a couple T-shirts, a couple movies. It's kind of all over the place, but it's cool. Mostly just local stuff that I found, including, I guess we'll just start now, and we'll start with the vinyl. So Record Store Day was, I don't remember. It was recent. It was the last Saturday or the one before. Anyways, I don't usually go. I used to think Record Store Day was cool, and it's really kind of lost its charm on me. I don't find it to be special anymore, or even really that exciting. They're just gonna repress a bunch of shit, and that's about it. And they do it twice a year now, I think, which is, I don't know. It's just, I don't care anymore. That said, though, I usually go to my local record store, like, I don't know, maybe on Record Store Day or the day after or something like that, just to see if there's anything that catches my eye. What I don't like about it mostly is it's way too expensive. I don't know. Like I said, it's just overblown and overrated. But I did get one thing this year. It's not even anything that I knew was coming out, but I snagged it anyways. Wasn't super duper expensive or anything like that, which is pretty typical. But I got this Toto live record, Live in Tokyo 1980. This marks the first time Toto had ever played in Japan, so very cool. They had to have been not headlining because I think there's only 5 tracks here, so not a very long set, I guess. All songs recorded live this day, and it says all tracks previously unreleased. So I think that means maybe just the live versions, but I don't know. Yeah, really cool. I'd take it out, but I guess I could take it out. There's nothing, it's a pretty bare bones release. It's not a gatefold or anything, just single vinyl. It doesn't come with even a printed inner sleeve or anything, so I think they the record label kind of cheaped out on it, I think. It also says 2018. I thought this was a Record Store Day release. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Cool to have anyways. Like, yeah, I'm a massive Toto fan. That's right. Red vinyl. Pretty cool. Nice. Center labels, I guess. But anyways, yeah, glad to have it. Haven't listened to it yet, but yeah, I love Toto. I'll buy anything that they put out. Also picked up at the same store, all these records came from the same store, to almost complete my Alcatraz collection. I didn't have their live album, so I got Live Sentence, No Parole from Rock and Roll, which is the title of their first album. This came out, I think, shortly after their first album. This came out in '84. That first album, maybe '83. I'm not really sure. Also in Tokyo, just like the Toto album. Yeah, just standard black vinyl, obviously. I think I've been showing some Alcatraz stuff lately. It's a band that I really love. I mean, I'll listen to anything Graham Bonnet sings on. I think he's one of the best heavy metal vocalists of all time, and definitely one of the most underrated. That band would also be known for having Yngwie Malmsteen on that first album. Yeah, very, very, very good stuff. Now this band, I've been wanting to pick up more stuff from them. I have their debut album on cassette, so it's cool to have something from them on vinyl, I guess. We're talking about Anthem. Japanese heavy metal band, often referred to as the Japanese Judas Priest. I would agree with that to an extent. Over the course of their career, there's definitely some obvious Priest influences, here and there. This is their maybe third album, I think. Came out in '87 on King Records. I have the Medusa Records pressing, which is cool. Medusa was a great, great label. I'll show the back. Just standard vinyl. The cool Medusa center label. Yeah, just great, traditional heavy metal. They would actually go on later in their career to play more of a power metal, which was equally as good, I think. Just a very good, underrated band. All right, now we're going to move on to the CDs, mostly metal. You guys might like that. We got a couple of new releases, 2021 releases. I've only listened to one of these so far, but this is what I got. Just picked this one up today, actually. The newest Disaster album, Churches Without Saints. Disaster, one of my favorite bands, really, especially of this style. You know, German black thrash. These guys have been around for, I was going to say forever, not forever, but a pretty long time now. I think it was early 90s when they started. I could be wrong. But yeah, this came out on Metal Blade Records. Stoked to hear it. Like I said, I love Disaster. I try to pick up everything they get, but I probably have half their discography, so I need to get more. Kind of a funny band photo in the fact that I love when you have a band when one guy wears corpse paint and nobody else does. I always wondered how does that transpire? How does that go down? Is it just one guy that wants to do it and everyone else is like, no, we're not going to do that? But whatever. Disaster, fucking great. If you like old school thrash metal, definitely look into it. If you like black thrash, absolutely look into it. Just a great band. Look into all their stuff. So this album I've actually got around to listening to once so far, and I really like it. Newest album from Gravemiasma, with Abyss of Wrathful Deities. Yeah, it had been a while since we heard something from these guys, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've heard something from them, but yeah, Dark Descent Records. They've been kicking around for a while now, probably a little over 10 years. They just play just fucking great cavernous death metal. I guess the Metal Archive says black death metal, and that's not a bad description. I kind of just consider mostly death metal. You know, they came out around that time when that kind of the incantation worship was really, really coming on strong. And you know, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of those bands. Incantation are a very influential death metal band. A lot of people, you know, a lot of bands just want to sound like that, and you can't really blame them. But anyways, yeah, great band from the UK. This is actually the first thing I've picked up from them. I've been wanting to get some shit from them for years. I'd love to pick up the rest of their catalog. So, you know, whenever that happens, I'll clue you guys in. Obviously, one of my favorite bands of all time, and most of you guys are probably one of your favorite bands too. We have the newest album from Dark Throne with Eternal Hails. Haven't listened to it yet. I did listen to Hate Cloak, which is the first track that they kind of leaked online for, you know, everyone to sample. I thought it was really, really good. I don't know, just going off that track, I mean, it sounds kind of in the vein of their last album, Old Star, which I thought was really good. You know, classic heavy metal vibes, of course. Some kind of dirty doom metal, you know, as well. I don't know, I only listened to that song one time, and that's all I've heard from it, so I can't wait to, you know, fully dive into this. I like I said, I fucking love Dark Throne. I have enjoyed every album they've put out. Not all equally, of course. I think some of their, you know, after they stopped playing black metal, you know, I like the punk stuff they've done, and the, you know, the traditional heavy metal stuff they've done. You know, some albums are better than others, but I'm always excited for Dark Throne. You know, whether I love the album or I just kind of like it, I'm still always super excited when they put something out. But so this album got a lot of talk last year. I'm glad I finally got around to picking it up. This was a great comeback album. You know, one of the better death metal comebacks in recent years, I'd say. And there's been a lot of them, but I think this one kind of stands out for being just a lot better than I think a lot of people expected it to be. Newest album from Benediction, Scriptures. Came out on Nuclear Blast, like I said, last year. I've only listened to this once, so, you know, I'm not going to talk about it at length, but I will say, God damn it, I will say that it's very good, and I can't wait to, you know, give it a couple more spins. But yeah, great comeback for this, you know, one of the more notorious British death metal bands from, you know, from the early 90s. Got a couple odds and ends from my buddy in Graveworm. I have a lot of their stuff. I didn't have these. I did order something that I did already have. He'd given me one of these maybe a couple years back, but this was the last one that he had, so I ordered this so I can send to my buddy Kevin, Full Metal Ginger. This is going to be going his way. Got this Warbeast in Command of Satan's Blade, self-made by the man himself. So the Warbeast EP was really cool. If I remember correctly, it's got like almost all the dudes from Nunslaughter playing on this. So yeah, pretty cool. And so he put out 2 albums last year, 2020. So I hadn't gotten them yet, so figured I'd scoop them up now. What better time than now, right? So we got Funeral Rites. I've listened to this one once so far, and I really dig it. If you haven't heard Graveworm, I've talked about them on this channel numerous times. Just very old school, very primitive black death metal with doomy touches on most albums anyways. But yeah, very primitive, very old school sounding, raw, stripped down, and usually just pretty rocking black death metal. Really liked that album. This one I haven't heard yet. Got Night Creatures. Yeah, both released the same year. And yeah, I gotta listen to this one soon so I can compare it to the other. Now, got a couple of old British heavy metal releases. You could even say New Wave of British heavy metal. Although some would consider, I can't talk. Some would consider neither of these bands to be part of that movement. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but I would disagree. Why I didn't have this already, I don't know. I'm finally getting around to buying this. Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East, obviously, live in Japan. This is just a legendary live album. Came out in 1979. I love Judas Priest. Glad to finally have it. And yeah, so what do you guys think? Most metal fans that I've come across anyway that are, old school dudes, maybe were around when that shit was going down. A lot of people don't consider Judas Priest a part of that new wave of British heavy metal movement. My take is they were part of it. My take is that they started it. Because they predate just about all those bands. So yeah, I consider them to be the band that set off that movement. So I don't know how you guys feel, but I definitely think they were a part of it, to say the least. Now, I don't like this next band. Don't like them at all, but I've always heard that their first 2 albums are really good. So I picked up their first album. I'm probably going to stop here. I don't even know for sure if I'll like it. But I picked it up today used and really cheap. 1980 debut from Def Leppard with On Through the Night. These guys were definitely there in the the new wave of British heavy metal movement. But they kind of disowned it. They actually, shortly after, they kind of made statements that are like, yeah, we're not a heavy metal band. We're just a rock band. We don't consider ourselves part of the, let's just say, Nawabum. We don't consider ourselves part of the Nawabum movement. And they really tried to distance themselves from that and from heavy metal in general, which, I don't know, whatever. I typically hate this band, but I've just always heard this album is so good, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Picked it up really cheap used. If I don't like it, whatever. Now we have some kind of prog-ish stuff. So I bought this album here way back when it came out. I got rid of it years ago thinking, I just wasn't really into it. But lately, I've just been listening to it a lot lately, and I like it again now. Glad to have it back, and it's going to stay in my collection this time. But we have the debut album from the Mars Volta. when did this come out? 2003. Yeah, I had it way back then, and like I said, I'm glad to have it again. I've just been, this has been on heavy rotation. The Mars Volta, a lot of people consider them a prog band. I'm no expert. I don't try to lump bands into certain genres. I think they got more proggy and more complex later on. But this album still has prog moments. I would also call it kind of like a fusion album, psychedelic rock maybe. And it's kind of all those things, but it's very catchy. The instrumentation is phenomenal. The songwriting is phenomenal. So the two dudes in this band came from that band At the Drive-In. I never really listened to At the Drive-In, but they're kind of a cult classic, kind of post-hardcore type band. Just never really got into them, but I do love the Mars Volta, and I want to get the rest of their stuff. I have their second album, and I'm gonna have to throw it on because I haven't listened to it in a long time. But I also picked up used and very cheap their live album from 2005. It's called Scav Dates. I haven't listened to it yet, but it'll be cool to see how their songs come out live. See if they sound as good as they do, or if they sound good at all in the live setting. And last CD, last but not least, we have the 1985? Yeah, 1985 debut from Mike and the Mechanics. If you're not familiar with Mike and the Mechanics, they were really known for Mike Rutherford from Genesis. Mike Rutherford from Genesis. This was the beginning of his, I don't know if you would call this a solo career, or if it's just a band. I don't know, but this would be the beginning of his work outside of Genesis. So, I'd never really been compelled. For some reason, I never felt compelled to check out anything from this band, but I finally have, and I actually really like this album. It's maybe not as complex and experimental as, say, Peter Gabriel's solo stuff, but maybe a little bit more complex and a little bit more ambitious than, say, Phil Collins' solo career. Kind of sits somewhere in the middle. Maybe leaning towards Collins stuff a little bit more, but just really good, well-written, arty pop songs, I guess you could call it. All right, that is all the music. Now we have, I actually got a couple shirts. I'm going to show those too, because why not? Picked up this fucking badass Halloween shirt. Got this at Walmart, actually, from the original movie poster. I think I paid $6 or $7 for it, and it's currently my favorite t-shirt. I fucking love it. And I put a small order for a couple shirts from this guy out of Seattle that, yes, these are bootlegs, so if you frown upon that, I apologize, and I totally get it, but I don't know. He does nice work, and I wanted to order a couple things from him, so I've always wanted a Profanatica t-shirt, so now I have one. And picked up this cool Mortuary Drape shirt as well, from one of their early demos, Doom Return. Love Mortuary Drape. Amazing Italian black metal. Alright, we're almost done. Got a couple movies. So I love The Ring, the movie The Ring. Most of you guys are probably familiar with it. I love it. I've even watched it recently, like a week ago, and I think it totally holds up. Now, I don't have fond memories of The Ring 2 from back in 2003. Thought I'd pick it up, watch it again, see if maybe I like it more now. I've never seen the unrated edition, so that'll be cool. And one thing I did not know about this movie is the director on this, because he didn't direct the first Ring, but Hideo Nakata, who actually directed the Japanese. Basically, so The Ring is a U.S. remake. It's taken from a Japanese movie called Ringu, and Hideo Nakata, who directed this, directed Ringu. Kind of strange, but I think that's a very cool touch. And picked up this really good condition VHS, the movie Legend. I might already have this on VHS, but I had to buy it when I saw it, so probably send it to a friend or something like that if it turns out I already have it. And I think I do. But like I said, it was in such good shape. Probably better if I do have it. This one's probably in much better shape. So there's that. Yeah, that's all we got. We'll show the comic of the day. Dark Horse Comics, one of my favorite comic labels. Frank Miller, one of my favorite comic writers. To hell and back. This was I think a spin-off of the Sin City series. You might have seen the Sin City movie. It was okay, I guess. Maybe you did, or maybe you didn't know that was based on a comic from back, I think, in the 80s, right? And it was written by Frank Miller, one of the best writers in comic history. I've never read this. I've never even cracked it open. This is the first issue of 9, and I don't think I have any of the others. So this is a really well done comic, really good quality, all black and white artwork. Very fucking cool. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Talk to me about stuff. Do you like Sin City? Do you like Alcatraz? What do you think about The Ring, especially? Any horror fans into The Ring? I love it. So, anyways, Louis says hello. Thanks for stopping by. We will talk soon, guys. Cheers.